All right, season 3, episode 2, Paperclip. This is the object that Mulder likes to entertain himself with in previous episodes.
Yeah, he does, indeed.
That's what he's playing with. It's become a kind of a joke in our house. I was like, would you like to go back to the 90s when people just played with a paperclip? I tell this to my kids who are on their like smartphones and they have access to every bit of entertainment, and they're like, I'm bored. How you're bored in 2024 is beyond. That's an X-File. Mulder and Scully should come over and investigate that, because you have this wall of films. You have YouTube, Netflix, freaking everything. We have a whole, like, every video game you could ever imagine, every board game you could ever imagine.
So many things.
The computer, which has endless kinds of things that you can go to do. Yeah. You know, so just in the house alone. And then, you know, we go out. It's not like we don't leave the house. But it's like, they're at home and they're like, I'm bored. And I'm like, oh my God.
I know.
And then we watch shows from, like, you know, we watch like Anne with an E or something.
Oh,
and it's
gosh.
like, these kids are in the 1800s.
Yeah.
And it's like, read a book or, I don't know, go run around outside. It's like, those are your options. You got nothing.
Yep.
So anyway.
That's it.
That has nothing to do with this episode. But there you go. Paperclip.
Yeah.
So we went back and we rewatched the scene, and we were indeed correct. There is a smallpox vaccination scar on the body of the alien, which then leads me to believe our hypotheses that these were humans.
Yeah.
That have been experimented on and turned into alien hybrids. How you do such a thing, I have no idea. Or it is also possible that, you know, they just vaccinated the alien hybrids. We're just like, you know, you're susceptible to it and we gotta do it. I don't know. I don't know how Mulder is aware of what, like, a smallpox vaccination looks like and why.
It's just one of those things that he knows.
I didn't know, like, everyone who has a smallpox vaccination has a scar from it, like a specific kind of scar that you can identify in the skin.
I thought smallpox was one of the things that you all, like, everyone got vaccinated against.
Yeah.
Right? I don't have any weird scar that I know of. I'm like,
I've looked at your body pretty thoroughly. I've not noticed any obvious scars. I don't know. He's like, he pulls it, like, we see it. He shows it, and it is a very obvious. It almost looks like if you were to like heat up someone's dog tags and like brand them into the skin or something. It's a
weird looking scar.
Like, so I've never seen that before on a human.
Yeah. Either that's a lie and they don't leave scars, or we haven't been vaccinated from smallpox.
Yeah, I know, because it isn't until this episode that they find the skin samples.
Yeah.
The data, the database of all of the people who have had the vaccination and whatever, and which is what I'm thinking. They abducted them and experimented on them. So I don't know. Anyways, moving on from that, if you guys can tell us, do smallpox vaccinations leave a very obvious scar that anyone could tell, even in rotting corpses that were left in a train car for God knows how long?
Yeah.
And once again, I have no idea why they didn't just destroy the bodies.
Same.
I got nothing on that. So yeah, once again, we already kind of talked about some of this stuff. Smoking Man's scared. He lost the tape. Skinner kind of holds it over him. Skinner eventually loses this to Krychek and them, and then they even try to kill Krychek, and they screw up there. I have a feeling that Krychek is going to come to Mulder and Scully and be like, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. But he killed Mulder's father, and he also killed Scully's sister.
Yeah,
so no deal.
No, that would be wild. I don't remember what happens with Krychek, so I don't know. But if he tries to ask either of them or both of them for help...
He's going to. I'm like
That's
99%
crazy.
sure.
The only way they will help him is if they don't know.
Yeah. They knew now.
And right now, they don't
They
know
do
that it's
know.
Krychek.
They do know because Scully shoots Mulder when he's going to kill Krychek. And she's like, I prevented you from killing him because it's going to put a bullet in him. He's like, no, he killed my father.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
So,
you're right. Sorry.
no, he already
I'm sorry.
knows.
They do know that he killed... But do they know about Scully's sister then?
I mean, I think that they're smart enough.
I think you're right.
To
Sorry.
put two and two together.
I totally forgot about that scene with
It's okay.
Mulder and Krychek, yeah.
It's all right. We watched it like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, we're
So,
finally catching up.
we're finally catching
this
up.
episode and one more, and then we're going to be
Yep.
fresh, and we're
Very
going to
fresh.
try and stay on top of it.
We're going to watch more episodes tomorrow.
Yeah.
But we're going to be all caught up, and hopefully we'll get to them.
Yes.
Quicker.
Yeah.
We will get to them.
We will.
Just
Hopefully
whether or
quicker.
Not. Yeah,
Yeah.
quicker than we can. Even though no one's watching these as expected.
Oh,
I think
that's
they have
okay.
like 90 views.
That's okay.
Or nothing.
The people that are watching
The
them
people who are
like
watching
them.
them are excited.
And
that's
it's,
all we
it's
need.
fun for us to talk about them.
Yeah. These are our lowest watched videos by far.
I mean, that's what you get when you start reviewing episode by episode a show that's like
30
years old.
You know what? I thought there'd be more X-Files fans, and I think that the fans that are out there are like, they know the episode so well, they're like, I don't need to hear any idiots
know.
who don't know anything about this show.
Maybe. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how many X-Files fans are in existence anymore because I told you, I think I mentioned in one of these
tons.
reviews that like 2 of my old coworkers had literally never heard of X-Files before, and one of them was, like my age, and the other one was like a few years younger than me, but I was shocked by that. So
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, it's crazy to me. I don't understand how you could have never heard of this show. I definitely know for sure that they've heard of it. They just don't remember hearing of it. It's too popular to have not got brought up at some point because it's a reference point for anything that is like odd.
Yeah, I mean,
it's like this feels like an X-File or like even the music. Or
Simpsons have an episode where Mulder and Scully, like it's so culturally relevant. So
of course, it was like one of the biggest shows on earth, if not the biggest show on television for a short time. So,
but I definitely wonder about like modern day fans and how that's going for everybody.
It would be like not having heard of the X-Files, the Twilight Zone, or whatever.
Gosh.
And plus, it did get a reboot with the original cast.
Yes,
2 different seasons,
deal.
which was only like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
So these are modern, and they had movies in theaters. Like, no, I'm sorry, there's no way, dude.
I mean,
there's
there's
no
definitely
way.
people like I'm sure there are people that have never heard about it because they don't follow anything.
I've never watched a single episode of MASH. I've never watched a single episode of The Love Boat.
The people that I think have like really never heard of it are people that like aren't movie people. They're not TV people. They're not like anything like that. You can know those things from references from other media.
Don't you think if I walked around and I talked to like 10 random people on the street and I said, "Have you ever heard of the show Gilligan's Island?" I would say 10 out of 10 of them have, no matter how much they don't watch.
I think it would depend on their age. I definitely think
Gilligan's Island?
Yes, I think that honestly when you get to like
I Love Lucy
27 and lower, I feel like there will be people that definitely have not heard of it.
I genuinely don't understand.
Because those are old. They're
those
very
were old shows when I was a kid.
I know, but
and I
I'm
knew what they
you,
were.
and
so did everyone else I know.
I know. I'm telling you though. I think I think that Gilligan's Island people would not know, and maybe even I Love Lucy.
Is anyone watching this
people
right
that
now
are watching this are
not
gonna be,
heard of Gilligan's Island? And do you think? What do you think? Do you think people have heard of Gilligan's Island, I Love Lucy, and even newer shows like something from even the 90s, right? Like Friends. Come on.
Friends has made a comeback. People are aware of Friends, I think.
But so did the X-Files. Anyways, let's move on from this.
Yeah.
We're going to I just can't, for the life of me,
I definitely think
fathom.
the people that are watching these reviews have heard of those other shows, of course. But yeah, let us know if you think there are people that,
I just don't understand how someone couldn't know basic pop culture. Like, Elvis and the Beatles. Like,
I mean,
everyone's heard of these people.
Like monks and people that...
I mean, sure, but yes, yes.
Anyway, moving on.
Tribesmen in indigenous colonies have not
on.
heard of these things, I'm sure. But
We'll
if you were in America, I have no idea how the fuck you couldn't have heard of this. Anyways, okay. So that's what we do here. If you don't like it, there's the door. So Scully, like, basically just straight up sees aliens in this episode. After they go and interrogate this, like, Joseph Mengele type character.
Yeah.
I forget what his freaking name is. What's weird is that I actually Googled his name to see if he was a Nazi, doctor or whatever. And there was a there was a person with this guy's name pretty close. It was almost identical. Like, I think it was only like it's like the character in this, and the character in the person in real life was just an So it was like ER.
Yeah.
And this was like, because it's like Victor. No, the first name is Victor, I think, and
like
that doesn't
matter.
No, the Mengele is the real guy.
Oh,
that was
sorry.
like the most evil fucking dude in the Nazi.
Talk about not
regime.
knowing pop culture. Just kidding. That was bad.
I've studied World War II a good amount in my life.
I have not.
It's not pleasant. I don't recommend it.
Yeah.
But anyway, moving on from all of that, my memory's not great on World War II stuff. I mean, I know more than most probably would, but fuck, I get names mixed up all the time. It is what it is. But they go and they get the information from him. He ends up being dead at the end of this, so they probably killed him off. I can only imagine. It would be too coincidental that he just like had a heart attack. But they go, they find the like files, behind the doors with the whatever the fucking code is that she just so happens to know.
Yeah, it's numbers.
It's not Planck's consonant like in freaking Stranger Things that Susie Poo knows.
No.
It's something like that, though. It's just a number code that I guess scientists would know. So they go down there and, of course, eventually the smallpox vaccinations, and Scully has a file. Mulder's sister has a file. This is where we learn that Mulder's sister was... that Mulder was the original target. Mm-hmm. But then the sister was taken. But then he questions his mom, and his mom's like, they asked me, or the dad asked her, or they asked her. I think it was the dad. Yeah, it was the dad. He was like, who's the favorite? Like, which one?
Yeah.
And I guess he picked Mulder as his favorite. I don't know, because I don't think it's very clear on that. They take Samantha, but they also allude to that they were coming for Mulder. So I don't understand. I don't really know how that works. Like, did they accidentally take Samantha? Did they take Samantha to shut Mulder? It's to shut up the dad. But like, did he pick Mulder?
Or maybe the one...
Or did he say, like, he's my favorite, and then they're like, okay, we'll take the other one? Or was he like, Samantha's my favorite, and that's why they took her?
Right, that's
like,
what I
don't
was gonna say.
know.
Yeah. I don't either. I think that it's supposed to be... Even though his name was on the folder, I think the plan was like, we're gonna take Samantha.
The Mulder folder?
The Mulder folder, yeah. So I think that's what is we're meant to believe. Is that
he
Dad
picked
picks
her,
him as the favorite, and so Samantha is the one that gets taken.
but he chooses for Samantha to be taken.
Yes. That's what I think we're supposed to take it as.
What a coward. Like,
yes. It's awful. I mean, having to pick between your kids at all.
no, we just leave. I don't care.
100. But,
you come and find us.
I mean, definitely when you're involved in, like, shady government agencies, it's harder
Klemper.
to get away.
Klemper. That's his name. I think it's like Victor Klemper, and the real guy's name was like Klemper. It was weird. I looked it up, and it was like just 2 extra ERs at the end. It's weird. Or 1 extra ER, I guess. And yeah, I mean, Skinner is once again a good guy.
Oh yeah, I love Skinner's part of this episode. I love that when he shows up to the hospital room, and the native guy that's there, he's just like, all right, stay here and like watch or whatever, and then he goes and chases after one of the shady guys that has been watching the room, and gets beat up for it, of course.
Yeah, oh yeah,
but,
he gets the tape taken from him.
Yeah, but I mean, and before that, obviously, when he goes to Mulder and Scully and is like, I'm gonna do what I can to get you back on, and if I can't, then I will die. Like,
yeah,
I will be the one that has to like testify and possibly be killed. So, I think this is. I mean, we'll see, because he's not really in the next episode at all. But I feel like this is like a important moment for them to realize that Skinner is in fact on their side for sure. Yeah. I think that they've had little glimpses of it, but by and large they are distrustful of him. But I think this is the pivot point where now he's kind of part of the group, part of the gang.
Yeah.
Because they have some really great stuff in the future. But
yeah. And he uses his leverage after, the smoking man tries to call out his bluff that he doesn't have the tape. He's like, homie memorized the tape and told 20 other Navajos.
Yeah.
I call bullshit on this. I don't know if the dude has like a fucking photographic memory and why their testimony would be all that significant without proof. I think
it's supposed to be, it's because of the oral tradition. Mm-hmm. So it's like, that's the idea, is that they're very used to telling their history in an oral fashion.
I get that, but
he is able to memorize things really quickly.
So, like, if a Native American or Navajo showed up to a courthouse and was like, I have top secret government information in my head that I translated from Navajo that I don't have in my possession, they'd be like, get the fuck out of here.
I mean, I don't know, if they had like him plus 20 others and then Skinner's also saying like, yes, this is what happened, and I think that they would take
especially
him
when like
somewhat seriously.
The highest, like the dudes in the smoke-filled back rooms control the government. They're like, shut that shit down. Kill those guys. As soon as they come forward, put a bullet in their head.
I'll say yes. But
I don't know. But it works. They get him reinstated, and the X-Files is back open.
Yep.
And, Scully does not get to be with her sister because of this. She is responsible for her death. So I said in the last one. And she dies before we think that the medicine man who brought Mulder back from the dead, he's like, oh, we're gonna cure Melissa Scully, and no, she dies. I mean, unless they took her and they faked her death and they're gonna hold it over Scully in the future.
No,
I don't.
She definitely dies. I mean, and he even says when he's healing Mulder that it's it depends on so many things, like doing the ritual, like if the body is too weak, if the person, if the spirit wants to leave, they have to want to be there, and there's all these factors, and he's only doing what he can in a hospital room, so he doesn't have the use of all their sacred herbs and all of that stuff too. And I definitely wonder, I do not remember this, but I do wonder if Melissa is going to return to Scully through some dreams.
Sure, like her dad.
Same thing, like with her dad, especially because Melissa was the more spiritual of the two of them.
Would make sense.
So it would make sense.
She'll be her guardian angel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting and sad, of course.
Yeah, you're probably right. That's probably what will happen. That makes the most sense. But that's that.
Yeah. That's the end of the arc.
We see, Scully sees these alien hybrid things running around down in the basement with her. She drops her flashlight, and then Mulder walks outside and sees a UFO.
Yes.
Flying away, and of course Scully isn't there to see it, but she does see aliens. Now she could probably just be like, I don't know what I saw.
Of course she's gonna say that,
but it's
it was dark,
oh
and
my
I don't know
god,
what I saw.
Scully, you literally just found an entire freaking facility.
And even if they aren't aliens, even if they're humans that have been genetically modified, that's still pretty wild.
But she's already gotten evidence. I mean, they literally murdered a doctor who came to Scully and was like, the genetic material you brought to me, or the metal, or whatever it was.
Yeah, it was the metal.
It has to be, by definition, extraterrestrial.
Yes, that happened in,
and then
season 1.
She dies mysteriously the next day. And every time that they get onto anything like this, they're killed instantly.
This is only season 3.
Come
and
on,
we have
Scully.
so much more to go of her trying her hardest to hold on to her belief system.
I mean, I don't know. It's just when she does this dog and pony show in the future where she's like, that's ridiculous, Mulder. It's like, really?
Like,
at
Scully,
this point,
remember what you saw?
Nothing is ridiculous anymore. So anyway, that's that. Paperclip. It's been clipped. We're done. Moving on.
Bye.
Bye.